We opened September 29th, 2017, and that we were derived from, I'm going to say 8 years prior to that, the city leaders and stakeholders within the community had started to see an uptick in homelessness. And so they had subcontracted with Dr. Robert Marbit and asked him to come in. He was the guru of homelessness, and said, what can we do as a community to try to consolidate homelessness and get the services needed and lower the barriers for these folks to hopefully help them. And therefore, 8 years later, the campus was brought to fruition, and then we opened September 29th, 2017. So the mission of the campus is pretty simple, just to walk alongside the homeless individual on their journey, and with an end goal of self-sufficiency. So the first thing that we do is offer shelter. Not to do the psychobabble, but if you think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and food, shelter, water, that is our basic foundation. So we offer a 105-bed emergency shelter, and then we also offer a 40-bed transitional shelter. In addition to that, some of the other services maybe that we provide, 3 meals a day as an example. We also have a laundry service available here on site. We have Mercy Clinic, which is right next door to us. And they're a full-fledged clinic that you and I can walk into, but it's also available to all of my residents that are staying here on campus as well. The community has been more than generous in terms of the amount and the types of food that I'm able to serve here on campus. And so my budget for food is basically zero, okay? And we get enough food that I'm serving 350 meals a day. If you extrapolate that out, my meal cost is less than a penny. And I want to give a homeless individual or an individual on the street corner $5, I know that that's going to go to maybe a single hamburger at Mickey D's. If you give $5 to the Hope campus, that in essence will serve 500 meals because our meal cost is so inexpensive. When we opened September 29th, 2017, it only took me 4 days and I was full. So the community was right. We needed a shelter, because prior to us opening, the homeless population was basically just spread out throughout the community. Now we have a concentrated location with most of the homeless individuals staying in one area, to where we can have concentrated services and be able to give them the individual attention that they need and hopefully deserve, and get them to self-sufficiency. I read articles all the time where I stopped just to give somebody $5 as an example, and got held up at gunpoint. There's usually an ulterior motive, sadly. So it's not safe, in my opinion, to do it. I think there's a fine line in my wording of empowerment versus enabling. I think, do not get me wrong, it's a very select few individuals that maybe we'll see on the corners asking for money that legitimately just need the money, and they're not homeless. I understand that, but the majority, I don't know the percentage, but it's a high percentage, they're homeless and they're just taking your money to take your money. So Susie comes through the door as a homeless individual. First thing that we're going to do is Susie's going to meet with the case manager, and the case manager's job is, I don't want to say it's simple, it's actually probably one of the hardest jobs we have, is to meet with Susie and say, what brings Susie in? Where does Susie want to be? And then what are the steps that we have to take to get to Susie from point A to point B? And then that plan is written out on a piece of paper, and then we meet with Susie on a weekly basis, and hopefully we're encouraging her and being her cheerleader, if you will, to succeed. And so whether that's helping her get back on her disability, whether that's getting her over to the guidance center to get back on her, to get her some mental health help, maybe it's getting her next door to Mercy to get some physical health. Maybe it's as simple as filling out a food stamp card and getting SNAP benefits, placed back into effect. Or finding jobs. We offer a full library here on campus, so we've got Wi-Fi, we've got computers, so we have all the tools necessary to help Susie become self-sufficient. Well, it would be nice if we had a one-size-fit-all model.
Yeah.
But sadly, we could do it today, walk out in the hallway, grab 10 individuals, one of them is going to need Social Security help, the other one is going to need disability help. The other one maybe is just unemployed and do that. So if we had a cookie cutter model, honestly, we would probably lose half our population overnight. And then that population would have nowhere to go. And the unsheltered population has already doubled in the last 10 years, and it's not getting any better. I don't think it will ever be solved, but I think, honestly, a whole lot more can be done. In my heart of hearts, there's a couple key points. First and foremost is affordable housing, okay? Whether you're in Fort Smith, Arkansas, whether you're in Los Angeles, California, it's really, really hard to find anything under, I'll say, $600. That's livable, okay? A third of my population is on disability, so they're making $755 a month. Do the math. It doesn't work. That's why we have a shelter, okay? Addiction and mental health. There's a mental health crisis going on nationwide. Again, it's not just Fort Smith. It seems like it's compounded here, and don't get me wrong, it has gone up, yes, but it's the way it is in today's world. So what keeps me motivated? The will to do the next right thing, the will to succeed. I have high expectations. I give everybody, I'll say, the benefit of the doubt. I believe that just about everybody here, honestly, could almost live on their own with, some, what's the word I'm looking for? More of a social network, if you will. We're very cautious before we put somebody back out into the community. We want to make sure that they're going to succeed. The last thing that we ever want to do is put Susie in an apartment knowing darn good and well that she's not on her meds, she's unemployed, she has no income, and she's going to get evicted in 30 days. That doesn't help anybody. We really do try to make a concentrated effort of, we want that person, when they're moving out of here, to succeed. And we have lots of success. We've averaged, I believe, 21 people a month year to date for 2023 that have moved out. And I don't know the exact percentage, but I'm going to tell you 2 or 3% have come back. So we're doing a lot of good things. So we have lots of volunteer opportunities here on the campus. One of them, the first one that comes to my mind, honestly, which is the easiest, is in our kitchen, serving meals. We serve 3 meals a day here. We have 2 chefs and 1 cook that reside in there as staff. However, it takes a lot of prep work, and it's a big job based on the amount of food that comes through here and the amount of meals that we're serving. So I encourage, social or churches, congregations, families, if you're searching for an area that you want to help out in, the kitchen is really an easy fit in. Another alternative would be if you have a specialty. Let's say you work at a bank and you're into numbers and you're really good at budgeting. Again, time and talent. We offer what we call a Hope Cares class here on site, and it's 4 days a week. But come in and volunteer an hour a month of your time and set up a budgeting class. Teach our individuals how to succeed with budgeting. One of my biggest challenges every year is funding. Keep in mind we just celebrated 6 years, so we're still brand new, if you will. Most nonprofits have been around, at least in our community, a good 20, 30, 40 years, which is great. We're the new kid on the block, so funding for me is very, very important. We don't get any United Way funding, and so we need to get as much funding from the community as possible. I kind of take the old approach where if I could have, I think Fort Smith is 88,000 people roughly. If I could get everybody to donate 50 cents a month per person, my world would change. I could go out, I could hire more case managers to serve more clients. Because again, my biggest challenge is staffing. And funding is a direct correlation with staffing. So if I can't get the funding, I can't get the staffing. And if I can't get the staffing, then I have to limit services, which in my scenario is I can't house as many people. And then the last thing I want to do is turn people away because I don't have enough manpower to take care of the client. My whole goal, though, honestly, is to become self-sufficient. But we're just not there. We're not there yet. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and we're still too new. The vision for the Hope Campus would include affordable housing, for sure. I'm also entertaining a wellness center, and I'm also entertaining and currently researching a respite care. So we have a select subculture of our population that, they get released from a hospital, as an example, but their insurance has expired, so they can't stay in the hospital anymore. But these folks, they still need a place to go. But putting that individual in a dormitory with 105 people is not the most sanitized area for somebody that maybe has fresh wounds and needs bandage care. So my proposal is to open up what we call just a respite care center, which would be a small 12 to 20 bed facility inside the confines of Hope Campus, partner up with somebody like Mercy as an example, and we'd have 12 to 20 beds in there, and then that person gets released from the hospital. We'd take them in from the respite side of things. It's managed and operated by Mercy. It just would be housed here at the campus. Let them go through 30 days of care there, and then we can get them moved over into the shelter side of things. So a successful transition back into the community would be, as an example, Susie has graduated from our program, and now we're going to move her back into her own apartment, and we're going to give Susie her own key to her apartment. With that being said, year to date, 2023, we've been averaging 21 individuals a month have been moving back into the community as success stories.